Well, I have some really good news to share with you all today, and that is we finally have a moving in date for our new house. This is a long time coming, a couple of months actually, and it's also why we are surrounded by cardboard boxes now. But today's video, I wanted to actually show you some things that I found while I was sort of clearing out and sorting and packing, and it's going to be a bit of a show and tell. There's some stuff in there from mainly like years gone by, like 10 plus years ago when I was racing and traveling around the world for, at the time, Laverack GLT, a UCI Continental team. And I think some of it will be cool and a nice way to spend this video just going back over some of the stuff that I've found. And if anything, I think I've got lots more hidden away in other places. I'll have to dig them out and also follow up this video when I find that stuff too. But first of all, the audio might be a little bit off. My Rode microphone has finally given up the ghost. It is crackling and making all funny noises, so we're gonna have to get a new one. So in this bag is some stuff that I want to show you. I've pretty much forgotten half of it anyway. Some of it is Charlie's, like this for example is a poster or a print of like Tour de France jerseys, but it's not even been out of the packet. But I need to find somewhere to put this when we move into the house. I didn't even know Charlie had this. This is a signed copy of just a photo of Brandy Wiggins descending some sort of mountain. I don't know where. If you take a better look at it, maybe you can guess where it is. I was kind of thinking maybe like Galibia or something like that, but now there's one more thing in this collection that actually belongs to Charlie. Look, those two things there, and this, which is her frame number badge, I don't know what you call it, from the 3 Ascents of the Mont Ventoux that she did, oh, blimey, that could be 2012? 2011? I don't know, I wasn't there. She went out with a lot of club mates and did it, and it's a fab story she's got to tell of this, and one that I am still proud as punch for her doing to this day. Is a load of race numbers, and I'm going to whiz through some of them and explain some of it. Oh, and I want to save this to last. So I think this is my first ever race number from like a proper professional like race. This is from the Jayco Herald Sun Tour 2013, Australian stage race that took place over 4 or 5 days, and it was my first, I would say it was my first race in professional ranks. Maybe some of you won't know this, but when I left the junior ranks at 18 years old, I didn't race under 23 level at all. I just went straight to, well, the senior ranks, I suppose. And I raced with Laverack GLT on our winter training camp in Australia for 2 months, and we did this race amongst others. So that's a pretty special one. Next we have, in no particular order, a number from the Singapore Criterium, where we got invited out. There was about 5 of us from Laverack GLT. We got invited out to do this race, and it was one of the most memorable races I've ever done, because we were racing around the Formula 1 circuit at night, and like it was such a whistle-stop tour. We flew in, we were there for like 2 days, did the race late one night, and then flew out like the next day. That was it. I think this race number is from the Tour of Japan, but I can't remember which edition. I was lucky enough to do the race twice, and certainly the second time was my best result at that race. My first time I actually DNF'd on the 3rd or 4th stage, and then didn't finish the tour, of course. Of course, this race is where we raced up Mount Fuji. I think this is from the Tour of Azerbaijan. Fun fact, the edition that I did, Juan Jose Cobo was also in the race. The guy that won the Vuelta. Now then, so these numbers, well, this one not so much, but this is my race number from the An Post Ros, or RAS. as we might say, but Ross in Ireland, which is a very, 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 very prestigious week-long race in Ireland. These are terribly bad arm numbers that you had to wear on your sleeves, and the material is like a plastic, so on any hot day these would be horrendous on the back of your jersey. But these numbers, but particularly this race, was very good to me. I loved racing in Ireland, and I also loved racing against the competition there as well, because it was a weird mix of like UCI teams, mainly continental teams, then local club Irish teams from guys that work like 9 to 5 during the week and then just, you know, race on the weekend. And also national squads. So Great Britain cycling team was there one year with the Yates brothers. And then another year, which was actually the year that we won, like with James Gullen, we won the overall. We had to defend the yellow jersey for pretty much half of the race. And I got in a breakaway with James on, I think it was like the 4th or 5th stage, and that's where we cemented the yellow jersey. Australian team that were challenging us that year consisted of Cameron Meyer and Jai Hindley. A car number. So you know in the convoy, so you've got car number 20. It shows how big the convoy was. I'm pretty sure the convoy was bigger than 20 cars, more like 30. There was a lot of cars, which is good for when you want to stop for a pee on the side of the road, because yeah, you can stop for at least a minute or two and still be in the convoy when you get going again. Okay, so this is the final race number to show you, and this is from the Tour series, which in its heyday was probably the largest and most prestigious criterium racing series in the world. Very competitive, and more often than not attracted riders from Australia and America to come over and participate and try their luck at the UK criterium scene, which is known for being, you know, not just 90-degree left turns or right turns. It's town centre, like slippery, wet, like cobblestones, different surfaces, like tight barriers, like you name it. It's got everything. Plus, you've got people, you know, throwing cans of alcohol at you, maybe on the side of the circuit. But that's a story for another time. But this is from my first Tour series race, where I was thrown in the deep end. My first year racing for Rafa GLT. That summer, I toured the UK with them doing these races, and it was horrifically hard. Like 1 hour criteriums, sprinting out of corners as hard as possible, like a Zwift race, but like twice as hard. And I was very young and very inexperienced at this type of thing. Plus the traveling was really difficult. So it holds quite a strong sort of memory in my cycling, my cycling history. Now, to finish off, I have a little booklet and a signed rider card. Yes, we were encouraged to sign about 150, 200 of these, keep them, and then bring them to races and hand them out to people for people to collect. Only this one is a special edition, technically, because it is written with Japanese. Now, we went to Japan twice, and we had a fan club out there, mainly because Rafa was becoming quite well known with, at the time, the Team Sky partnership. And they had a huge fan club out there because Rafa was really big in Japan. And at the time, we had a team and a little bit of a following, and they made these little like stickers for us. And they also came to every stage with a huge flag version of what I'm holding here and cheered us on every day. Cheered on the men in black. And I even have little stickers of myself there, which I can, I don't know, stick onto the fridge or something. And this little booklet. Now, the first page is actually yours truly. And there I am on a turbo trainer, just getting my photo snapped. And this set the stage for the upcoming season. And there's a little passage here, a little quote that I gave, and I want to read it to you. I want to finish the Tour of Normandy. This is a massive race and it's going to be a big test to see if I've stepped up to the challenge. I don't want to be just riding in it though. I want to be part of it and have responsibilities, even if I'm right on the limit for the job in hand. And boy, was I right on the limit. That first edition of the Tour of Normandy, racing in Northern Europe is hard racing, especially if you're quite small and don't have 400 or 500 watts at your disposal. At the time, my FTP was maybe around the 330 mark. So there were big guys, probably around the 400 mark, in a crosswind, laying it down, and I would be struggling. And I did struggle throughout that whole week. But at the very back of this, and there's the team for the season there. I don't know if you can just about see that. There's the team for the season. And some other photos and little quotes. And at the very back, there's a tiny little bit of writing that says, Ed Dooley went on to finish this year's grueling edition of the Tour of Normandy. And after years of not seeing that, that was really proud. It made me really proud to see that again. But it wasn't until I opened this book, and looking back on it now, I realised just how many of us were under 23 riders. And how much of a development team Bradford GLT was at the time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 under 23 riders, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of senior riders in the squad at the time. So it was very much trying to bring through the next lot of talent, and I was very very lucky to be in a position to be on that team, to be given the opportunities that I had over the next, well, it was pretty much 6-7 years. So there we go, there's the memorabilia for you, and like I said, there's more to be dug out from somewhere. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time.